All right, so we've got Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, Australia, now Japan. If we combine those critical deals already that President Trump has secured, we throw in some domestic production as well. Does that go half the way in liberating us from China so that we're not dependent on them? How far down the road does that get us?
Well, as far as President Trump goes, I mean, the sky's the limit, and we can't just double what we've done so far at some point in the future and then be satisfied with it. We always need to be pushing even further. And we have so much of these rare earth minerals in our own ground. We need to not only be tapping into the supply, but also boosting the entire supply chain process. So it's not just that we're taking it out of the ground and then sending it to some other country and then bringing it back to our country later in the process. It would be great from start to finish to be able to tap into these resources. It's important for our national security, for our economy. It's also better for our environment, too, because we tap into these supplies so much better and safer than so many other countries around the world. So this is a big deal. And as far as quantifying it, I would say that we're making leaps into and through this golden age for America. But I wouldn't say that President Trump would ever be happy, just by doubling what he's done so far. He's going to just keep pushing no matter what.
Mr. Administrator, I want to ask a little bit about what it will take to get a really sustained mining industry going in America. The Obama-Biden years really killed mining in America. What are some of the regulatory hurdles? What are some of the science? What are some of the things that you're doing behind the scenes to make sure that one day we're mining rare earths in Alaska or Minnesota or Wyoming and other places where we know those metals exist?
Advancing cooperative federalism, working with states and local governments, engaging with these companies and these investors directly. While the Department of Interior may be assisting with leases, there might be a need for an air permit or a water permit. And we want to get to yes as quickly as possible. Speed is key. There's a permitting reform that's being debated as a possible legislative opportunity that could be available. I believe that a permitting reform bill that would lead to permits taking less time, costing less money, having more certainty would be key as far as the process as well. I would also add that something President Trump's done this year that's really important is creating this National Energy Dominance Council. You don't have individual agencies siloed off, just focused on their own jurisdiction. We work together. We partner together. Just last week, meeting with President Trump in the Oval Office, with the Department of Interior, Department of Energy, the Department of Commerce, and collaborating. That is so important. I think in the past where somebody would start a permitting process and then maybe 15 months down the road or 18 months down the road, they're being told no for something that they could have gotten a heads up on much earlier. That's something that needs to be avoided as well. And there's so much more, from the siting on brownfields and Superfund sites. The list goes on. I've traveled the entire country. By next week, I'll have already been to 48 of our states, and it's important to get out of Washington as much as possible. I have seen so much groundbreaking this year. This isn't a conversation about an opportunity that's 5 years or 10 years down the road. I'm going to, West Memphis, Arkansas, a week ago Monday, with a $4 billion Google data center. In an hour out of Cheyenne, where there's a brand new mining operation in Wyoming, or a new nuclear facility that's being built right now in Idaho Falls, Idaho. People are actually breaking the ground already on these massive investments.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Massive investments and massive jobs that will come from it. I want to ask you, because I can hear the green side of this country screaming already. They hear the word mining and they think, oh, no, they're going to destroy the environment. But when it comes to mining and refining these critical minerals, if we do it stateside, and when it comes to detrimental impact on the environment, there really isn't much of one, is there?
We tap into our own resources here in the United States so much better than so many other countries around the world. And on top of it, by the way, we're not paying kids, practically nothing or possibly, in fact, nothing, like we see with some of these stories elsewhere, like what we're witnessing right now in the African continent with China Belt and Road Initiative. So the impacts are so wide-reaching. When we talk about the increase of baseload power, whether it's coal plants or natural gas pipelines and plants or these nuclear sites, these data centers, you just go one source after another. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not just about something that's huge for our economy. And you just pointed out the benefits of creating American jobs. It's not just big for our national security because we're in competition with other nations like China. It's also so much better for our environment. We tap into American innovation and we care about clean air, land, and water for all Americans. And I would say with great pride, Americans should keep their head up, held high, knowing that we tap into these resources so much better than so many other countries elsewhere.